All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this best of 2 series between KG.Luminous and iG Vitality. It is, of course, MLPDota, joined by johnxfire. John, how the hell do you feel right now, sir?
Well, Mike, I told you in personal chat. I feel a bit funky, but I'm not sure why. But beyond that, I'm really excited to watch some more Dota. That was a really intense game one, I have to say. Didn't quite go the way I would have expected it. KG.L just not managing to get their draft working the way it probably should have run. They didn't get the objectives early on. They didn't really secure a good start for their Slark. They didn't maximize that bounty hunter pickup. And hopefully they change things up here for game two because game one, I mean, it didn't feel like they were completely outplayed or just absolutely stomped on a different level, but they really have to reshape their strategy in here up against iG.V.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree with you on that point. Like, it didn't feel like it was that bad, but it's certainly, like, when you look at the stats and the score, it was actually fairly one-sided. The draft has started. iG.V Vitality, or excuse me, iG Vitality, do end up first picking that Grimstroke, which was available through those bans. The Doom, of
Oh,
course, another very high priority right now in this patch, is picked up by KG.Luminous, quite frankly, because the Doom can't die once he's got Max Devour.
yeah, again, it's really potent in lane. It has a lot of innate regeneration now, thanks to his own skills. And beyond that, he can maintain farm because of that. His sustain relies on a farming tool, so he's always going to get farmed and he's going to stay in lane a bit longer. As you approach that mid game, around 10 to 15 minutes, he's a very big threat that you probably can't right click down.
It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. We'll see how iG Vitality drafts against it, however. Of course, it is still very, very early on, and all the drafts are still very open. KG.Luminous, they will need to make a second pick, though. They do start diving in their reserve time. Overall, like, we've seen the Grimstroke a couple times now, John, throughout this new patch. It was only just made available in Captain's Mode, but it doesn't feel that imbalanced. It actually feels like it's in a good spot right now in this patch anyway.
I'll be frank with you personally. I feel like it's been underwhelming. It hasn't performed as amazingly as we'd expect. I think you really need some sort of plan in mind when planning to really maximize that ultimate, to have some good synergies going on there. You have to have some spells that really benefit from having it casted twice over. I feel like KG.L's response so far has been really good. Again, that Doom and then the Rubik pickup as well. A lot of spells to steal. I mean, pretty much every single spell from Grimstroke is really nice for Rubik. So it's a very value pick already just off of one hero. And, as the draft goes on, we'll basically see how much more the Rubik can get, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, iG Vitality, second pick for them now. See what route they're taking with this draft of theirs. I do really want to see a Grimstroke perform fantastically. It's just hasn't quite been there yet. In fact, I believe every game we've watched so far with Grimstroke has ended up working out against the team's favor. So perhaps iG Vitality will be the first team to turn that around. They are using a lot of time, or a lot of reserve time anyway, to make this second pick, and they will go for the Bane. Of course, this Bane, like, I mean, they're not maxing Enfeeble yet, John, on this Bane, but man, he got buffed so hard with an Enfeeble. It's almost ridiculous how much you can amplify, the stun statuses and things like that with that Enfeeble now.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking forward to how much they get going with that Grimstroke Bane duo. I think it's pretty potent. You could, cast Enfeeble onto heroes, and then you can also get Fiend's Grip on both of them for an extended time. The control is going to be pretty good coming out. I think you are depending a lot on that ultimate though, because outside of that, Bane is very much a single target hero, and Grimstroke. I mean, he does have some AOE spells, but it's gonna be hard to really play around that. It's nothing amazingly big, like say something like a Leshrac stun is pretty good. Something like a Tusk Snowball or Shards for control. So you do kind of lack that area of control, but it is very potent right now for single targets and tight spaces for the most part, coming out from iG.V. But again, that Bane pickup might work against them as KG.L does have that Rubik mic.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy spell to steal that the Fiend's Grip. Even the Nightmare, like pretty much any one of Bane's skills is pretty easy to steal for Rubik. So see how it does work out. Mind you, of course, you do have that synergy between the Grimstrokes. I suppose you could get a Fiend's Grip on two people with that Soulbind, as well as the Enfeeble for that matter. So you could have a pretty long Fiend's Grip going on two people, assuming the Rubik isn't there to cancel it off for you and just take it himself. But we'll see. There's still plenty of draft to go. We do see the Jug being banned out by IG Vitality, so they don't want to see that hero coming out. Mind you, the Magnus was banned earlier on by KG.Luminous, and surprisingly enough, we finally see a Chaos Knight ban coming out, which personally, John, I feel like is pretty darn powerful this patch. We just haven't seen it being given any priority yet.
I would be interested in seeing that Chaos Knight come out. It's always, it's a very snowball sort of core, and it is pretty strong early in the game. Just, with a few levels up, he can do a lot of damage. But I'm not sure. It's definitely not prioritizing the pro scene so far, and we haven't seen it pop out just yet. This is the first time we've seen it, just in a ban. Not even a pickup, it's just banned straight up, so perhaps there's something specific KG.L wants, and they do pick up the Lich, so it looks like we do know our support duo coming out from KG.L. Again, that Lich has been pretty potent lately. That Frost Armor damage reduction is pretty big, and the damage and slow it pumps out, along with that gaze coming out from Lich dragging you down to his area. He just has so much crowd control now. It's pretty amazing. It does come at the cost of not having mana sustain anymore. So you do have to watch out for that when you're making trades in the lane. Your mana pool is now your limiting factor.
Yeah, certainly so. But man, when you get into that mid game as a Lich and you basically make it so somebody takes hardly any right click damage, it's just like in conjunction with the fact that Doom can get the double devour and have plus 40 HP regen, you put the Frost Shield on him as well, and unless you have amazing amounts of magic damage, he's just never going to die. So I just love the synergy there from KG.Luminous as well, assuming, of course, they pull it off in game number 2. IG Vitality now, third pick for them. They do end up going for the Luna prior to actually... We're probably not going to see a Shadow Demon coming out, John, so this is very interesting. They're not going for that combination.
Yeah, it's rather interesting. We have not seen the Luna without the Shadow Demon in this patch yet. In the past few games we've seen, it's always been the Shadow Demon plus the Luna. I'm interested to see how effective the Luna will be without that Shadow Demon. I don't think it really relies too much on the Shadow Demon. Even the games we've casted so far, they really haven't been spamming out those illusions anyway. The Shadow Demon tends to get relegated as a lifesaver in the cases we've seen it. Just disrupting people who are in danger or disrupting cores that jump in. I'm interested to see if the Luna can really work out here. I think it's going to be interesting to see how you itemize this Luna now as well. I mean, we have seen it a couple of times. I'm just curious as to, with this circumstance, without the Shadow Demon, without the hope of really maxing out illusions, if you go for something like an Aghanim's for early magic damage, I think that's very good in this case. Because of, again, Doom just gets blown up by magic damage. You'll still get reduced by the Lich though, but I think there's some synergy to be had with Grimstroke as well. When you have your Agnums up, maybe you could get a double strike going if you target the unit. I'm not too sure about that one. But KG.L's response is pretty good and pretty confident. The Slark comes out for them again, and iG.V goes with the Dragon Knight. So a very stable opening from a very stable set of cores from iG.V. And we've seen this time and time again, the Luna and the Dragon Knight to really emphasize the push.
10 seconds remaining.
And when you've got that aura as well from the Luna, like adding that much strength to the Dragon Knight, he's already a very, very tanky hero. You're going to have that aura giving him so much more strength. Basically a heart's worth of strength. And with that, I mean, it's just going to be so hard to get through that armor and that HP. Especially when you're a Slark. Like, yeah, you're stealing the attributes, but you've been given so much more if you're the Dragon Knight that it's like, does it really matter? I guess we're gonna see. I don't know. Like, at first when I was looking at KG.Luminous's draft, I thought they were just out drafting iG.V, but that DK, it feels like it's put a bit of a
10
spanner in the
seconds
works
remaining.
for the side of KG.Luminous. But I suppose these
5
final
seconds
picks will
remaining.
tell us a bit more, because we still are expecting a mid hero to come out for KG and iG.V. I mean, it does look like we're waiting for an off-lane hero of some sort. Unless, of course, they do just run the Dragon Knight offlane, but you just never see that anymore anyway. So iG.V. Final pick, what will it be?
Radiant team pick.
Ursa.
I mean, overall it's a good hero, right? It's still fine, but it's kind of like what was the mindset like behind that decision?
I'm really not too certain. I mean,
10
this
seconds
lineup is
remaining.
fairly well-rounded. I guess the weakest spot is really team fights. You're relying
5
entirely on
seconds
Luna's
remaining.
Eclipse for magic damage, but you really don't have the greatest control unless you can get a pretty good, a good burst off from your Grimstroke onto the enemy heroes. Otherwise, you don't really have the most reliable way of controlling these team fights. You're gonna have to go for pickoffs and then transition to objectives. The Roshan with Ursa, early towers with Luna and DK, which is very possible. You can really melt those towers, but it's just a strange choice. I expected something to make up for the lack of team fight because again, there's that emphasis on early fights, early objectives. The Ursa is just odd. I feel like it's gonna be very susceptible to kiting here, especially against the Lich,
You may now
and
select your heroes.
with the Rubik as well. And now you have the Monkey King coming out for KG.L. So I feel like when it comes down to the draft, KG.L's draft is much more well-rounded. They have pretty decent team fight. They come online fairly early, and they don't do pushing too well. Like none of these heroes are natural pushers. I think they can still buy enough time to get a push going anyway. Whereas compared to iG.V, they have two great pushing heroes, some decent single target control, and really good single target damage. But I feel like it takes a while for, at least the Luna to come online and the Ursa as well to really be big. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find that time from KG.L, but I am keen on seeing just how far they can
10
take it. Again,
seconds
there is
remaining.
some synergy there. The Luna aura will benefit Ursa a lot as well.
5
And
seconds
again, they can
remaining.
secure these objectives early on. If they manage to do that, I think if they can take a bunch of tier 1s by the 15-minute mark, start knocking in tier 2s by then, I think they're in an okay spot if they can clear the map out by then. But if it goes a bit longer than that and they don't really close out the map, I feel like KG.L should be able to overtake them if they play their cards right.
Yeah. Well, as we saw in that first game, if Erica doesn't have a good start on that Slark, it's just seems to all fall apart for the rest of the team, and we'll see if he can manage it this time around. He is probably going to be up against that Ursa. Definitely not the laning hero he wants to be up against, but perhaps that was the reason why they just chose it. They're like, you know what, let's just screw up Erica's lane, and the rest of them will follow. iG.V, a very convincing first game for them. See if they can do the same in this second game. And hopefully, it won't be too much longer till we get into the game, John. While we're waiting, though, I will bring up the next series for any viewers wondering, which it's actually pretty funny because we're watching iG.V versus KG.L. It will actually be IG versus KG for the third series. So,
Excuse me.
yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, that one. Like it's kind of like
Someone had a sense of humor when
Yeah.
making the schedule,
Prepare
Mike.
for battle.
they did indeed. So we'll see if IG can take this 2-0, or iG.V can take this 2-0, then we'll see what KG does against the actual IG when it comes to series number 3. Nevertheless, of course, KG.Luminous going to be attempting to draw this out. It is only a best of 2 in this group stage. We'll see if they can manage it. And for our sakes, John, hopefully we get to see a good Grimstroke performance because we still haven't seen one. And I feel like we haven't seen the potential of this hero yet.
Yeah, it's definitely been underwhelming so far. At least, in the games we've seen so far of it. it just doesn't feel like it's had the biggest impact. You know, we've seen some good Stroke of Fate snipes, but overall, it just feels like,
30
I don't know,
seconds
it's not,
to
it
battle.
definitely hasn't been maximized yet. I think the pros are still getting a bit of a grip. I guess the Chinese scene is still trying to get the grips with it in the competitive scene, trying to see how far they can push the hero and how exactly it fits into its role. So, you know, I can't blame them for that. It just entered captain's mode after all. But again, it's been rather underwhelming so far.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
Oh, both teams going to be taking 2 banner ins for themselves. So very even start indeed. We will have the Monkey King down at the bot lane, it seems, in that safe lane. And rather, they will have Erica in the mid lane this time. So I think this is not a bad decision at all. He's probably going to have a way better time up against that DK than he is up against that Ursa in the laning phase. And it just seems like, again, it's kind of like if you just secure Erica's farm, you have a much better chance in this game because you're relying so much on this Slark.
Yeah, you definitely want that good start on Slark. As mentioned, you know, in the last game, if a Slark doesn't get a good start, he can't really flash farm. He depends on killing heroes to get that gold going. And, you know, when you're behind, it's very hard to kill heroes, Mike.
Absolutely is. Meanwhile, safe lane of the die, we do see Dust and Lian up there with the Luna Bane. Of course, Protoss will be there to help out Xiao Fu. And as I say that, Mian apparently found first blood onto Mao Mao. My apologies for missing the kill, ladies and gentlemen. I really wasn't expecting it this early on. But Mian, he did go for the level 1 Inkswell, and it does pay off. Now Ray trying to produce some harassment towards Mian, but he just turns around and starts right-clicking Ray. And apparently doesn't care whatsoever about that Frost Shield early on. Meanwhile, mid lane, Erica very close to finding the second kill of the map onto Butterfly Effect. He does force out a salve and then does proceed to cancel it as well. So a lot of value coming out from Erica's little play there. And this is going to make it a lot harder for Butterfly Effect in this mid lane. Speaking of, Beyond being jumped on right now, bot lane, he actually tries to fight the Monkey King 1v1. Mian just trying to back off, but perhaps a bit overly confident there in the Fury swipes.
Yeah, both of these heroes really enjoy, you know, just right-clicking one guy for a long time. But of course, Monkey King just needs 4 hits. As an Ursa, you need a bit more, especially in this early part of the game. So you do have to watch out as to how far you commit man fighting against Monkey King, because he can just turn around.
Certainly can. We'll see how Ursa reacts to this. Of course, Beyond, he had a fantastic game in the first game around, so we'll see if he makes the same mistake again up against Mao Mao. Nevertheless, it is a 1-to-1. Mian may have gone too far. The Frost Shield does come out bot lane, and he should just end up dying. Although that Inkswell, a lot of damage and a lot of stun. Now he does throw out the Stroke of Fate as well. Though Beyond copying a lot of damage from that Jingu Mastery. Mao can't afford to take one more hit. He looks like he will salve up and walk away, and now he'll turn around. He does not have the Primal Spring available, but he does get away with taking out that Grimstroke. And yeah, he does have to use a salve for it, but I don't think he's going to mind too much.
Yeah, it's a good start here for Mao. He's had a decent time in lane. He's died once, but he's had 2 kills around him. So I think Beyond's actually getting hurt a bit more here than Mao is. He's still doing quite well, although he is a bit behind in last hits. But I think as a Monkey King, you can farm up a bit better compared to a Slark that gets shut down. So he does have tools to catch up in that mid game.
Well, Protoss may end up falling at the top lane. He is being chased down. Lucent Beam does come out from Dust, but the Infernal Blade is there from Xiao Fu. And that'll be enough. Dust will not bother trying to chase down the Bane. Or excuse me, not the Bane, the Rubik. Protoss, he does heal himself up and will just return back to the lane as per normal. The bot rune, there is a bit of an argument going on between Mian and Ray. The Inkswell will connect with a lot of damage and a long stun. This may be a kill for Mian, and Ray, he will end up falling. And it's one of those things, John, if you stay within that Inkswell range way too long, it's just a lot of damage that gets pumped out.
It really is. You have to watch out for that. And I feel like already we've seen Mian play this hero a bit more aggressively, and it has been paying off for him. They have been finding kills when they can.
Well, they're going again. They do go on the ledge, and well, he just came back to the lane, so I believe he is going to have to walk his way next time. In fact, he did TP down, so yeah. Now, Mao, he's not going to have the Lich there as a support to help him out for at least another minute or so, I feel.
That was a calculated choice. He saw that Mao was being jumped on. He just intercepted, casted Sinister Gaze to get their attention away, and forced them to really just basically take the Lich out because Mao was way too far by then.
It's still problematic though, don't you think, John? Like it's... You don't want to give too much away to Beyond on this Ursa. Like it is still an Ursa.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Nevertheless though, mid lane. Butterfly Effect and Erika basically trading farm, though it is at that stage now where the Dragon Knight can just breathe fire and take over with the CS. He doesn't really... he probably doesn't fear death too much at this stage either, thanks to level 2 Dragon Blood. At the very least, they'll need to rotate someone over to help out if they do want to kill him. Mind you, though, on the same side of the coin, like Erika is just free farming as well. Well, not free farming, but he is farming decently well in comparison to the first game. So you're still going to have to worry about that Slark later on.
Oh yeah, definitely so. It's just... I feel like it's still not the farm you want to see from a Slark. Again, he does kind of want to get supported in that lane to really get as much as he can. He does have a good time in level 6 this time, but the issue is, I don't think his itemization is going to be too smooth. It's not too rough.
Bot lane Beyond actually manages to get Mao. They tried everything to hold that Ursa in place to try and take him down, but he still managed to walk out safely, and perhaps they can get him now. No, they actually can't. Mian. Ray was still chasing. He does end up giving up on it, but they actually went for the Sinister Gaze. With the Jingu Mastery coming out from the Monkey King, they were just trying to get the stacks up to 4, and they ended up getting it, but Beyond, with that level 2 Fury Swipe, as well as the Overpower, he just managed to burst down that Monkey King very, very quickly. Speaking of Dust, top lane hasn't been farming the greatest either. Like, if you look at the last hits in comparison, like Zhao Fu, he is currently about 10 last hits ahead of Dust right now. So this lane certainly feels like it's being won by KG.Luminous up at the top lane. Thing is, though, you do have that flash farm ability from Dust with those glaives, and, well, as I say that, Beyond just rips apart Ray at the bot lane again. But what I was trying to say, John, is the Luna's having a tough time in the lane, but he'll probably be able to catch up relatively quickly once we get into the mid game.
Yeah, it's not something I'm too worried about if it's something like a Luna. As long as the Luna's not dying, I think it's fair enough.
Mid lane, they are going to jump in onto Erika. The silence is there, though the Shadow Dance will come out. Beyond actually goes down bot lane. They tried for the gank attempt, didn't really work out for them, and they end up losing their Ursa. So not the greatest trade in the world for IG Vitality. KG.Luminous, again, just going to be happy with what they're doing. They've seemingly won two out of 3 lanes. Now Zhao Fu also joins in this mid lane. He hasn't leveled up Dune yet. In fact, now he has. He does have 1 charges if he needs the mana for it, and they are going to make the jump onto him, but he is a lot tankier than the other heroes, although he still ends up going down. Now Erika, he cops the Ink Swell as well. He ran straight into it. The Spirit is on him. Ray being chased down as well. They do end up getting Erika with that Spirit from the... In fact, it was Butterfly Effect with the Breathe Fire. Protoss ends up getting Mian. But Butterfly Effect, the only one left. He does manage to get the T1 tower at the very least, but probably going to end up giving his life away for it. The Bane trying to come in and help out. Lien, can he actually make something happen here? Butterfly Effect so damn tanky on this DK. He actually is juking them out slowly but surely. Slow walking. The Frost Shield is there as well. Don't tell me he actually walks out of this. The Stroke of Fate is there, and he actually gets out. Alright, so DK didn't get buffed this patch, I believe, yet he still managed to walk out while being attacked by 3 heroes for a good 30 to 40 seconds. He still managed to walk out by himself.
under attack.
Yeah, that was curious. But again, we've seen the same thing happen a lot to Doom. I guess it shouldn't be too surprising to see it come out from Butterfly Effect. That was so strange to watch. He was trying to walk back. He was blocked a few times, and I guess they ran out of mana. All they had were right clicks, because I don't know. So strange.
Bot lane, they are going onto Mau Mau on that Monkey King. Can they burst him down? The Fury Swipes are stacking up, but that Frost Shield again. Just the physical damage he can block with that. Now, it looks like the Slark has joined in the team fight. Erica, he doesn't really know who he's going for, and he does get put in the Nightmare, though. They do take it off him, the Lich. So the Soulbind was there, and well, IG, they'll find 2 pickoffs for themselves, and now they're going after Xiao Fu as well. The stun is going to be available in just a couple seconds on Butterfly Effect. He will let it go, however. And I suppose that's the usage of Soulbind we've been looking for, right? Like, the Lich took the Nightmare off the Slark so he could try and get out of there. But then he just gets soulbinded anyway, and the Slark can't walk out because your Lich is asleep.
Yeah, on top of that, we saw a beautiful double stun coming out from Butterfly Effect, so it's pretty potent now. I mean, we're starting to see what you can really do with his hero might.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, though, Dust is free farming the safe lane. So at the very least, like, sure, things aren't going amazing. Well, actually, yeah, iG.V, like, with this free farm on the Luna, they've caught up so well. Erica will come in, not really much he can do. There will be a smoke attempt coming out of KG.Luminous. They are going straight up towards that top lane. They may run to Mian Mian, but I don't think he'll mind dying too much. Inkswell out immediately. He will not be able to stun anyone up. Boundless Strike is there as well. This should just be a very, very easy kill. Throws out the Soulbind just in case, but they do end up going down.
Definitely worthwhile for Mian Mian to cop that gank. You don't want your Luna falling back behind after she just, she's just been playing catch-up. Finally ahead of pretty much every single Radiant core except for the Doom, but you kind of expect that from Doom now since they go max Devour.
Bot lane, Boundless Strike was nice into 2 heroes. They got the Doom off on the Luna as well, but nice Nightmare comes in. Now Lian, well, he'll probably end up falling on that Bane, but he won't mind too much. He did end up saving his Luna. But the Luna is still ticking down, but he'll be fine. Survives on about 90 HP. Top lane, though, was being pushed in by Erica. He will pounce out of there, and Butterfly Effect will take over the top lane. 6 to 9 now. 2k net worth lead, the way of IG Vitality. Certainly not what you want to see if you're a KG.Luminous fan. Because again, their draft does not scale well if they don't do well in the early game.
Yeah, again, that's the limiting factor of Slark. He wants to dominate the early game. He wants to find the supports and kill them off fast. It's just that I feel like Erica has not done enough. 0-2 right now, 0 assists. Has not really been around finding the kills. He's just been trying to flash farm, but you can't beat a Luna in flash farm.
Butterfly Effect. He'll get the tier 1 top tower. Erica, nowhere near really... Like, he's nowhere near getting a Shadow Blade at the moment. He's gone for the 3 Wraith Bands, which makes perfect sense this patch, but you can't really tell the struggle. They've even given him some wards. It's like, just go place them yourself where the hell you want. Don't blame me for it later on if you get ganked up. Erica, we'll just hold on to them.
Dire are scanning.
Mian Mian actually going for an Aether Lens. I love this build on the Grimstroke. You're able to attack from a mile away. Just throw out all your spells and they just can't ever get near you. And I've got to say, John, getting Stroke of Faded over and over again, like from a mile away, it's so darn annoying.
It definitely is, and that's why I'm really not a fan of that hero, Mike. I've experienced that annoyance myself. And it just gets a bit more potent by the time Mian Mian hits level 15 as well. You're gonna have that 1 to 5% cast range talent, and you can just reach really far. I mean, just setting up Soulbind from a safe distance is pretty big. Casting Inkswell on an ally just a bit further out is pretty big as well. It just really helps Grimstroke maximize his kit.
Tier 1 bot tower does end up falling. Mao is trying to find a trade at the top tier 1 tower, but again, it feels like this is the position that KG.Luminous would like to be in, taking all these towers early on. Rather, with this DK, Butterfly Effect just continues to push out these towers quite easily. In fact, if they don't come defend, he might just get a tier 2 bot tower for free. The rest of the team is there to help out if necessary. Yeah, he just keeps ticking it down. Half HP now. He's got a bit more duration on that Elder Dragon form if he really wants to commit. But he will just blink out of there safely.
Again, it starts to feel like KG.L is not playing their game here. They're reacting to iG.V's movements. They're reacting to what iG.V wants to do instead of doing their own thing. Their Slark still has not gone around the map. It's still trying to farm up that Shadow Blade. And I feel like in this case, you probably don't really need it. You just need to group up as 2 or 3, smoke up, and try to find someone farming in the jungle, farming side lane alone. Just have some vision up to find that, and just try to get your Slark some kills. Because right now, he is playing a farm game against Luna, against a Dragon Knight who's taking objectives. We've seen this before, and it just doesn't work out when you're trying to play a farm game with Slark.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that you've still got to be up against an Ursa who can take a Roshan very fast, and he will do so right now. Dust is there with the Mask of Madness. Butterfly Effect is also there on that DK. And with that, the Roshan just ends up melting to Beyond. He will actually take the Aegis for himself, which I suppose is fair enough, considering he will be the one blinking in and initiating. And Dust, well, he'll go straight back to farming on that Luna. I mean, he's got that Mask of Madness, John. Why the hell wouldn't you? In fact, hold that thought. They do Dust up. But no, Dust, he'll stay up top lane. The rest of the team will start rotating around, trying to find some pickoffs. Though they are going to run into pretty much a full KG.Luminous squad, apart from the Slark, if they move any further down south. Looks like Butterfly Effect broke his own smoke anyway. So it feels like KG probably are aware of this. It will lead to nothing anyway.
We're 17 minutes in, 6-9, 3k net worth lead for iG.V, and I'll be honest, it feels like KG.L is just not playing to the strengths of their draft. They've had Doom off cooldown for a long time. They've had Wukong's Command off cooldown for a long time. Chain Frost as well. They're not choosing to force anything to happen when I feel like, you know, none of their heroes really don't flash. A Monkey King can, but he's not the position 1. Mao is, you know, he's not playing the +1 Monkey King. Slark takes that farm priority in the jungle. He does have a Shadow Blade now on Erica. Question is, can he find the pickoffs when iG.V has been pretty grouped up nowadays?
I don't really think so personally, John, but we'll have to wait and see. He's going to make a play sometime. And it looks like they are grouping up now on the side of KG.Luminous. So perhaps a smoke attempt is coming out. iG Vitality, meanwhile, sticking around as a crew. Both teams playing pretty passively right now. Both of them just seem to be okay with farming up, just sticking as 5, not really interested in engaging if they don't need to, and that's fair enough. Though again, as a Slark, you've got to be worried about dropping off later on in the game, especially up against that Ursa, Luna, and the DK. But they will continue to do so right now. And in fact, it does look like perhaps iG Vitality will be the ones to actually pursue a team fight. They do actually scan out somebody within their jungle. And Mao should have scattered out Butterfly Effect, and now Beyond trying to find him though. They may get the jump here on KG.Luminous. Erica just wants to back off. He's not interested in engaging on the Ursa. Now the Soulbind though, and the double silence coming out. Stroke of Fate there as well. Now the stun, butterfly effect, he gets a double stun off as well. They're going straight after that Rubik. The Fiend's Grip is there though, the Wukong's command making me lag. They're going to take down the DK it seems like, and they take down the Aegis. However, Erika, can he get even more? Beyond, still trying to go after Ray. It looks like he will not be able to. Meanwhile, Stroke of Fate in the back lines. They're trying to go after Mal. They will finally find him. But the side of KG.Luminous definitely coming out on top. 2 heroes for the sake of 4. This is certainly like pretty much exactly what they needed to try and get back into this game.
This is exactly the kind of thing they have to keep pulling off. They have to take these team fights, somehow split up iG.V and take, get the pickoffs they can one by one, and go back and take an objective or two, and grow richer that way. Because again, that Slark is not going to be out farming that Luna, and I feel like that was a very good trade. You trade a Monkey King, sure, you take a lot more in return, and you manage to at least get a significant amount of damage done on that tier 2 up top. You can start to open the map a bit more with the threat of the Slark.
Well, speaking of the Slark, he's going to find Mian. Though Mian does find himself a haste room, but he does get pounced on, and he should just be dead, and he will be. He will Shadow Dance just in case to make sure there's no backup, and he'll back off, pretty much back to farming. Just going to be happy with that. Although the Slark is still slightly behind in net worth, he certainly is catching up in terms of momentum. Just a matter of what iG.V chooses to do now. As KG.Luminous, they seem pretty content with just sitting there and hitting some creeps. iG.V just going to do the same thing. Dust is going for a BKB up next. KG.Luminous now, though, rotating through the enemy dire, or the dire jungle. Beyond, they don't really have a way to... The lift was pretty far away. Beyond does actually get caught out. Now the gaze as well, though. Ray has pretty much been left alone. Erika is there. He might want to jump on the DK, and he does have a silver edge up now, so he can at the very least break the DK. Monkey King as well might get caught out here. Dust has no Eclipse, but the Stroke of Fate does connect. Now the Boundless Strike. Wukong's command as well. He's going to try and fight this one out. Mal, he cops way too much damage though. That Wukong's command, I mean, it looked like he may have been having backup coming in to try and help him out, and he was just trying to delay the inevitable, but it just wasn't the case. He just kind of threw it out there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a waste of that cooldown, and this is iG.V actually doing what KG.L wants to do. They split KG.L up, get a pick off here and there, and again, they put themselves a bit further up. The surprise factor of that Slark Silver Edge is definitely gone now. They surely must have noticed the break status on their DK. So I'm sure they're going to itemize to counteract that. Or at the very least, they will play with that awareness in mind. And, it's going to be a big part of whether or not they can land those breaks on the DK to really make him softer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how easy that's going to be anymore when you reveal it, and it really doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah. Maelstrom will end up coming out on Butterfly Effect as well. So you've got that additional damage now. They will go for a smoke attempt. They're going to try and make something happen. Butterfly Effect. He does have teammates behind him. They've got to react fast though. He's been broken. Now the lift as well. He's going to die very, very quickly. Butterfly, he's trying to make his way up, but not quite. But the double Fiend's Grip coming out with Mian's Grimstroke. But they can't actually kill anyone off. Beyond just has to run out of there. Erika will find him. That Chain Frost doing a lot of work from the Lich. With that, they're going to go after Lien as well. Lien, really no way out of this one. He does Brain Sap, but Erika on a triple. And Mal as well, apparently finding Mian in that middle lane. But apparently, John, I mean, that Silver Edge, it came out, and suddenly this DK is just really, he's just paper. Every time, as long as Erika connects that strike on the DK, the fights seemingly seem to go their way.
Yeah, that was a very curious spot for DK to be at. I feel like Butterfly Effect was a bit far forward, and his team, the reaction was a bit late. I feel like the moment he was broken, that's when he should have jumped in. Instead, it came afterwards when he probably was stunned up and got dropped way too low in HP. So a bit too late in that reaction. Otherwise, I feel like iG.V might have been able to even that out a bit more if they reacted on time. Unfortunately, Butterfly Effect just melted on the spot. He doesn't really have anything tanking him up outside of Dragon Blood right now, so he is really susceptible to that Silver Edge. And if he's not going to be careful anymore, he will be picked off by Erica every single time now.
They do smoke up on the side of IG Vitality. Roshan will be up in 2.5 minutes. They don't seem to have any vision of as to where KG.Luminous could be. So they are running in the right direction, but they are a bit too split up right now, it feels. Erica. The Spirit will go out, but I don't know, this looks messy for the side of the Dire. They are going to get started. They will jump straight into that Lich, get rid of the Chain Frost. Now Erica goes straight onto that DK, and Butterfly Effect is just gone. Now Beyond, he's left alone, and he's dead as well. Mau Mau on a triple kill. He's going to go after more on that Bane. Ultra kill coming out from this Monkey King. And John, that was a very, very awkward team fight from iG.V. I mean, they were just split up. And it just seemed like nothing was coming together.
It was very awkward for iG.V to fight that. They didn't have vision beforehand, so they're just walking in blind. And, you know, they just went for a target they probably couldn't kill. Really unfortunate for them. They are starting to bleed gold away to KG.L. 2k lead now for KG.L. Most of that being split among their cores, of course. They are all behind Luna, but you kind of expect that. Luna just flash farms that fast, and from those kills, you know, they might even find Luna here.
Yeah, she's forced to BKB out just so she can get out of that leash, but it just feels like perhaps they've put a bit too much emphasis on this Luna farm. Doom comes out, and that DK, my goodness, gets blown up again. This time around, Zhao Fu will take the kill, but it really doesn't matter who takes it. As long as they're killing him off, and suddenly IG Vitality find themselves 4k net worth lead behind. It's a 20-14 at 26.5 minutes in. KG.Luminous, it seems like their game to lose now.
Yeah, they've managed to regain the momentum. They have really good farm on their Slurk, pretty decent farm on their Monkey King as well. And they've taken almost all the towers except for that bot lane.
Well, they're going mid lane right now. Soulbind was there, but just the follow-up isn't there. Like, the rest of the team is there to back them up. On the side of KG.Luminous, Beyond was just farming the top lane, and iG.V just all over the place right now. KG.L taking pretty much as much advantage of that as they can. Erica now getting very, very close. In fact, he has the full BKB up. He's just going to put it on the courier and bring it out. Dust going for a butterfly next on that Luna. The DK, I mean, butterfly effect, it just feels like he's got to stop getting caught out first. Like, it's got to be someone like Beyond jumping in first to try and make something happen. But if that Silver Edge connects on the DK, he's just dying every single time. He's just nothing.
Yeah, it's a very big issue right now. All of that armor really does matter, especially with the reworked damage reduction on armor. So every point he loses is very, very crucial. And, you know, DK is not exactly innately tanky without his Dragon Blood. So, again, I feel like Butterfly Effect has to either be starting fights or at the very least not the one being jumped on. If someone has to be jumped, it's better. Probably Beyond is probably the best one. Just have him get jumped first, and then, you know, have Butterfly Effect come in, tank up, and take that fight.
Well, they're going to go for the Roche fight. Roshan's still pretty healthy. Now the Eclipse coming in with that Soulbind, but Beyond's gone. He will buy back throughout all this. Erica's still pretty damn healthy. He goes after Lien. The Nightmare was there, but he is down, and now they want even more. They've got the Fiend's Rip on the Luna. It was stolen by Protoss, and they'll take the Luna out as well. Now Butterfly Effect is basically a sitting duck. The Stroke of Fate does come in, but it does absolutely nothing. Do they return to the Roshan, or do they go down mid lane? It looks like they will choose to go down mid lane instead. Why the hell not? When you know there's no buybacks available on both those cores, just get the hell back in there. As well as that, Beyond just bought back, so you kill him off one more time, and suddenly you can be taking 2 or 3 Raxes.
Yeah, this is the moment to be careful as iG.V. I think you're gonna have to concede that tower. It's just gonna go down. Whether or not you'll be able to defend a Rax is a different story. But, you know, that tower's not gonna stand. They're probably gonna lose at least one Rax if KG.L wants to. Yeah. They're gonna lose the melee Rax as well.
Nope. That Rax is gone. They'll probably just back off and go for that Roshan now, honestly. Why the hell not? I don't know if IG Vitality would feel too comfortable going for another Roche fight. Again, considering that there's no buybacks available on the Luna or the DK, or the Ursa for that matter, I don't feel like you can afford to try and counter this Roshan play.
It's a lot of risk for really not too much reward. They don't have the ultimate on Luna as well. Dragon form is going to be up in a few seconds, but that Eclipse being down is a lot of their damage right now.
Oh, Beyond actually gets Ray. Now Erika, though, gets started on the Ursa, though he may have gone in by himself. In fact, no, the Dark Pack comes in clutch. Now he's going to man-fight Beyond, although Beyond doing a lot of damage. Now the Soulbind as well. Who do they go on? Erika can't actually move forward while that Soulbind's there. Zhao Fu just trying to make a run out. It looks like IG Vitality have somewhat won this team fight for the moment, but the Boundless Strike, he connects on 3 of them with the Wukong's command. Where's the follow-up? He gets Mian. The DK as well, getting Fiends grouped up again by Protoss, who stole it from the Bane. No buyback available on the DK. They're going for even more. Looks like Lian will be the easy target for Mao Mao. The Primal Spring just comes off cooldown now. And with that lift coming up from Protoss, it's just all too easy to get the kill. Though, will they capitalize on it? Well, the Roshan will be their prize.
At very least, the next time iG.V decides to fight, they're going to have Luna ready to go with Eclipse. But right now, from that last fight, it's really not looking too healthy. Their lineup just seems to lack that control that we mentioned. Again, very single target focused for the control coming out of iG.V, and once the BKBs come out, you're gonna have to rely entirely on Fiend's Grip, which is really hard to do because then you give it away to the Rubik.
iG.V, we'll see what they do about this. Like, Butterfly will be coming up soon onto Dust, but is that gonna do enough? She's got it now. Still though, I don't know if it's really gonna be enough for this Luna to contest anymore. Like, it doesn't even feel like an outdraft. It just feels like they're being outplayed right now by the side of KG.L, and it just came out of nowhere, honestly, throughout this mid-game. Just a couple bad mistakes being made by iG.V. Bit of overconfidence, and suddenly you're so behind. 12k net worth, in fact, going to the way of the Dire. The Dota plus win probability says there's about 81% to the way of KG.Luminous. It was about 80% the way of IG Vitality earlier on, but well, it's just come really full force the other way now.
I think where it all really fell apart was when Butterfly Effect was just picked off twice over by that Silver Edge. It really just took away so much from the kit of this hero.
It certainly does seem that way. They will get started on those bot towers. Remove the remaining outer towers from the side of IG Vitality. This is where Boundless Strike Mian. Mian actually copying a lot of damage, but well, he will actually get leashed from Erika, and he's just dead. The strength of the Slark apparently coming into play right now. Like, we saw it last game being played by Erika, and it didn't work out too well for him, but I guess putting him in that mid lane was the right decision. He eventually just catches up and becomes an absolute powerhouse. How did the side of iG.V even defend this? Like, they're not even bothering. Butterfly Effect is split pushing the top tier 2 tower, but I doubt he's going to be able to take a tier 3 tower by himself. Unless he plans to come back and defend, they're just going to give this away. And yeah, Beyond, he's just farming the neutral creeps. Luna doesn't know what the hell to do in this situation. And that's the secondary Rax just gone.
Yeah, no defense coming out. I don't blame them. I feel like it is worth fighting for those Racks though. But if you see that probably won't take that fight, you don't have Dragon form, and you'd rather maybe wait for your Grimstroke to be back up, then yeah, I can see why they just gave it away. They do really rely on that Grimstroke for any added control, as just the Bane alone is single target. The Bane and the DK are both just really single target focused in terms of control. So you do kind of need that Grimstroke. You do need to get that Inkswell off onto Hero who jumps in, get that AoE control going, get that Soulbind up, and hopefully have two very nice Fiend scripts going on. But, you know, once that Grimstroke is gone, your control's just gone.
Well, Erika going for the back lines. He's found the DK. BKB comes out immediately. Boundless Strike keeps absolutely nobody. Chain Frost as well onto Beyond, but he BKBs up. This could be the team fight they needed. The Fiend Script is there as well, although it has been stolen again by Protoss, and now Butterfly Effect, he does go down. The Fiend Script was committed by Protoss for that DK kill. But it's probably well worth it considering there's still no buyback available on the DK. Now Beyond will be the target. Soulbind, Double Silence is there, but it's really doing nothing. Now the Boundless Strike will connect on 2. Beyond is a sitting duck, so is the Grimstroke, and so is Lien. It's 4 men down on the side of IG Vitality. They're not going to call it quite yet, but they're going to get megged. They only have the Luna available. She is top of the net worth board, but now she might go down. And in fact, they just call GG. As soon as she gets pounced, they're just like, yep, that'll be enough for us. It'll be a draw coming out with this series, John. KG.Luminous, they do manage to draw it out in the end. A 1-1. And so we will go into our third series of the night.
Yeah, the first draw in the entire tournament so far. And I have to say it was pretty back and forth. Game 1 looked pretty good for iG.V. I thought they, you know, had a good grasp on what they wanted to do. And then game 2, again, they pick up that Grimstroke, which so far we have not seen win yet, Mike. No. Every single game just kind of ends up like this. And, well, KG.L takes it fairly convincingly, 32-15, an almost reverse of the last time.
Well, John, with that, of course, we did see IG Vitality versus King Gaming.Luminous. Now we'll get to see IG versus King Gaming. So a draw comes out from those two. We'll see if anyone can win out the next series or whether they're going to draw as well. Nevertheless, it will be at MLPDota and at johnxfire joining you for tonight. We'll be right back in just a moment for our next series, guys. Of course, like last time, I will update you if there is going to be any massive delays or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it won't be too long at all. So please do stick around and hopefully you guys are enjoying. Won't be long.